All right, here's a thought for you. What if the very thing that makes you a rock star at what you do is also the thing holding you back the most? It's a bit of a mind bender, right? Well, that's the core idea from Lolly Daskal's incredible book, The Leadership Gap. And trust me, it's a concept that might just change how you see yourself and your leadership. So I want you to think for a second, what's your greatest strength? You know, that one quality you've always leaned on, the one that's gotten you where you are today. Got it? Okay, hold on to that thought because what if that exact thing is also your biggest weakness? I know, it sounds crazy, but that's the paradox we're going to unpack today. It's this idea that our best qualities, if we're not careful, can actually cast a pretty long shadow. And this whole paradox, well, that's what Lolly Daskal calls the leadership gap. Think of it like this invisible space, this gap that's holding you back. And even though you can't see it, its effects are, oh, they're very real. So let's break it down. What exactly is it? Okay, so Daskal defines it as the space between the leader you are right now and the leader you really want to be. And here's the fascinating part. That gap, it's filled with all the hidden aspects of our personality. She calls it our shadow self. You know, the parts we kind of push down or hide, maybe out of fear or shame. And it's those hidden parts that create the distance between who we are and who we could be. The book has this quote that just hits you. What you don't own owns you. Think about that. If you don't face these shadow parts of yourself, they end up controlling you from behind the scenes. They're pulling the strings on your actions, capping your potential, and a lot of the time, you don't even realize it's happening. So the key, the real game changer, is to start owning it all. So how do we start owning it? Well, this is where it gets really cool. Daskal gives us a framework of leadership archetypes. You can think of them like, well, like blueprints for understanding your own unique wiring, both your strengths and, yep, the potential weaknesses that are baked right in. Now, this isn't about putting you in a box. Not at all. It's about giving you a new lens, a way to see yourself more clearly. Each archetype points to a dominant leadership style, but here's the twist. It also contains the seeds of its opposite, its shadow side. So Daskal lays out 7 of these key archetypes. You've got the rebel, the explorer, the truth teller, the hero, the inventor, the navigator, and the knight. Each one is incredibly powerful for sure, but each one also has a very specific vulnerability. To really get how this works, let's zoom in on a couple of really powerful examples. Okay, first up, let's talk about the rebel. This is a big one. This is the change maker, right? The person who isn't afraid to challenge how things are done. But what happens when that confidence takes a hit? Well, that's when the rebel can slip into its shadow side, the imposter. I mean, just look at this contrast. On one hand, you have the rebel. They're all about driving change, they're confident, they're competent. But when that sneaky self-doubt creeps in, that same person can become the imposter. They feel like a total fraud, even with a mountain of achievements behind them. They're always looking for someone else's approval. It's literally 2 sides of the same coin. And this quote, this is basically the soundtrack playing inside the imposter's head. It just perfectly captures that feeling of not being good enough that can absolutely paralyze even the most brilliant leaders. It's a trap, and it's one we set for ourselves. All right, let's look at another one, the hero. We all know this type, right? The one who runs toward the fire when everyone else is running away. But the shadow of the hero is the bystander. This is where all that amazing potential for courage just evaporates into inaction. So the hero, they master their fear to do what needs to be done. They step up. But the bystander, they get crushed by that exact same fear. They see what's going on, they know it's wrong, but they don't do anything. They just hope someone else will handle it. And that kind of inaction, that passivity, can be every bit as damaging as making a terrible decision. This quote, wow, it really drives home just how dangerous that bystander gap can be. It's a chilling reminder that just standing by and watching has real consequences. True leadership, it's about having the guts to step in. Okay, so we've talked about the problem, right? These gaps that open up between our strengths and their shadow sides. But here's the good news, and it's really good news. You can close them. So this last part is all about taking this new self-awareness and turning it into real, concrete action. And that's the big question, isn't it? How do you actually do it? And listen, this isn't about trying to be perfect. Nobody's perfect. This is about becoming more whole. Daskal lays out a bunch of strategies.
but we're going to focus on 3 really key steps you can take to start standing in your own greatness.
All right, here we go. Step 1, be transparent and open. That means really digging deep and getting honest with yourself about what truly motivates you. Step 2, take some risks. Look, great leadership is brave. You have to be willing to step out of your comfort zone and, just as importantly, see failure as a lesson, not an ending. And finally, step 3, listen with compassion. Really listen. Giving people your genuine attention and care is how you build trust. These 3 things, they are the bridge from just knowing about your gap to actually closing it.
And really, if you take away just one thing from all this, let it be this. The goal isn't to kill off your weaknesses or pretend your shadow side doesn't exist. You can't. The real work is to understand it, to own it, and to integrate it with your strengths. That's where true, authentic leadership comes from, embracing all of who you are, the good, the bad, all of it. So, I'm going to leave you with this. Daskal says that greatness isn't some huge, dramatic event. It's often just a lot of small things, done well, day after day. So thinking about everything we just talked about, what's one small thing, just one, that you can do today to start closing your gap and stand in your greatness?